Welcome to the stream. Let me know if the sound is all right. Just trying to log on to watch the updates from the Nottingham Forest Brentford game as well. This is my team. I will probably make a transfer ahead of the game week 35 deadline. Saka is on my bench. Doesn't really feel right to have 10 million plus player on the bench, so probably sell Saka, and Bumo is my planned transfer in, but I want to watch the game where Brentford playing against Nottingham Forest before making my move. I already have Jared Bowen in my team. I know that Jared Bowen in is a really popular move this game week, but he's already in. My captain is currently on Alexander Isak, mostly because the Brentford defensive stats are really bad. I will show you this on the screen soon, but I'm really tempted to captain Jared Bowen as well. Let's create a captain poll. There we go. Who is your game week 35 captain? Mo Salah, Marmoush, Alexander Isak. If it's any other player, I'm captaining either Mbumo or Jared Bowen this week. FPL FOMO, thanks for joining in. I'm tempted by Jared Bowen, and I will probably bring in Mbumo, so I might actually join you on that one, but it's currently on Alexander Isak. Might change during this live Q&A, but I want to watch the Forest Brentford game before making my transfer. So how do we feel about the fixture announcement? Did you like that the Premier League rearranged the fixtures in game week 37, or did you want more doubles and blanks in the run-in? Like I say, see how tonight goes first. Yeah, makes sense. At least we're going to watch the game anyway, so if we make the transfers now or wait a couple of hours. I'm just trying to log on to see the game. Quite happy that there's no more doubles or blanks yet. I'm actually 50-50. I like blanks and doubles, but I don't have any ships left, and at the moment I only have one free transfer, so I'm not really that upset about the news that there will be no more blanks or doubles, to be honest. So the thing is, if Man City would have a double, I'm already tripled up on Man City assets, so that probably would have been a good thing for my team, but
Systemet power office.
yeah, obviously had to turn that sound down. The game starting in 5 minutes. Deadline is in 23 hours. I will have a deadline stream tomorrow as well, so if you're interested to catch up tomorrow as well, you're more than welcome. And Bumo is the most transferred in player ahead of game week 35. Would have been quite ironic if he actually got injured tonight, but Cunha, second most transferred in, Guardiola, third most transferred in player. Another ironic thing is that they are actually playing against each other this game week. So Cunha playing against Man City and Guardiola. So two of the most transferred in players are playing against each other. But I know that the transfers in are mostly based on how a player did the game week before. And of course we know Mbumo, he did really well in game week 33. Was it 18 points or 17? I think it was 18. Just set this up there. Orange Apple, thanks for joining in. All good. How about you? Bowen captain thoughts. I just discussed Bowen captaincy with FPL FOMO. He was suggesting both Bowen and Mbumo for game week 35. I'm really tempted by Jared Bowen. He's my vice captain at the moment. I have the captaincy on Alexander Isak, but it's a really close call. Not really that convinced by Alexander Isak, as I talked about in my team selection video. So the more I think about it, I'm actually leaning towards Jared Bowen for the differential as well. Alexander Isak is owned by 62% of the managers, so quite high ownership. So we'll probably go Jared Bowen, but if Mbumo does well tonight, if he's not injured, I will probably sell Saka to bring in Mbumo. I have Milenkovic and Mbumo playing tonight. One return might get me a green. So you're hoping for either a Nottingham Forest clean sheet or goal from Mbumo. It's like for me this season, when I have scenarios like this, it always turned out like Milenkovic yellow card, Mbumo blank, and Visa brace. Start 3 out of Mateta, Sar, Saliba, Munoz, Savinho, Kivior. It's hard to predict Arsenal this game week. I can't really see them resting Saliba. I would start it's a tough one. I know that the Crystal Palace players are minutes risks as well, but I would probably go Mateta. He probably is still on penalties for Crystal Palace. Glasner didn't really want to talk about the penalty miss in the press conference, so I think that he just wanted to play it down. So I think that Mateta is starting as well. So Mateta, I would play Sar as well and Saliba. It's really, really hard to be honest, but Kivior on the bench, Savinho as well. I really thought that Savinho actually was nailed on for Man City, but after seeing him getting benched in consecutive game weeks makes me think that he is a big minutes risk at the moment. So I would go Mateta, Sar, and Saliba. But really, really close on a corner in Nørgaard. Should have probably been a goal. Free header. He's trying to get it into the field. Who would be your number one transfer target this week? Probably Jared Bowen. I think that he played really well this game week, and we know that Spurs are really prioritizing Europe League at the moment, so they will probably rotate a lot and play some of the players that haven't been that much involved so far this season. So I think that Spurs definitely is one of the teams we should target in the run-in. So we know that Spurs, they actually tried to postpone the game against Aston Villa in game week 37 as well, but they got declined, so the game will go ahead. So I think that Ange Postecoglou probably will rotate a lot and save his starting 11 for Europe League. So I think that it's a really good idea to target Spurs going forward. So Jared Bowen in form, playing up front for West Ham. We know that he's nailed on. So if Fulkrug is starting, we know that Jared Bowen is playing right wing, and that's probably even better for Jared Bowen at the moment. So yeah, I really like Bowen. And Bumo going down in the box, but yeah, no penalty. I'm most likely going to risk it and captain Jared Bowen. Not a massive fan of Alexander Isak away at Brighton. Not a great fixture in my opinion. I was actually thinking the same at first, but I had a look at Brighton. Let's have a quick look. Isak. Alexander Isak, captain. Doing the research for my Game Week 35 team selection video, I had a look at Brighton stats and not really impressed by them in the last 4 game weeks, to be honest. Conceded 10 goals, 10 big chances, so 21 shots on target, and expected goal of 5.55. Not the worst, but it's, as you can see, 18th, 15th, 15th, 14th. So Brighton, they actually did pretty well around January, February when it comes to their defensive ability, but the last 4 game weeks, not that great, but yeah. Nice one, got to go, but have a great weekend, lad. All the best. Thanks for joining in. Have a nice weekend, and of course, best of luck in game week 35. Good luck with the Jared Bowen captaincy as well. I might actually join you. As mentioned, Alexander Isak is not locked in for me for the game week 35 captaincy, so so for this fixture, of course, I own Mbumo in this one, so of course I want him to do well, but at the same time I really want Chris Wood to blank. No forced defenders for me as well, so if Mbumo blanks, I really want Brentford to get a goal. just to wipe out the Nottingham Forest clean sheet. Oh. Gibbs White. That has to be a yellow, right? Nah. Yeah, yellow card, Gibbs White. Tackle Chade on a counter attack. He knew that that was going to be a yellow. I actually like Gibbs White for the run-in as well. On my watch list, as you can see down in the right-hand corner, midfielders, I have Mbumo, Jared Bowen, and MGW, that's Morgan Gibbs White. So I think that he is a good buy at the moment, especially if you have both Jared Bowen and Mbumo. We know that Nottingham Forest have decent transfers for the rest of the season, actually, and they are fighting for a spot in Europe. So I think that Nottingham Forest players are decent at the moment. But as mentioned, Jared Bowen and Mbumo would be my priority at the moment. I also like Williams. The defender got rested in the cup, so starting tonight will probably play most minutes in the run-in, and I really like O'Brien from Everton as well. Everton. JC, yeah, just mentioned O'Brien. I actually really like him for the rest of the season. Everton, strong defense and really good fixtures, especially a couple of decent home fixtures for Everton in game week 35, playing at home against Ipswich, away against Fulham in game week 36, playing at home against Southampton in game week 37. Not the best fixture, of course, playing away against Newcastle in the final game week, but I think that those three fixtures in 35, 36, and 37 makes O'Brien actually the best option at the moment. So, as mentioned, I really like Williams, but going for a Nottingham Forest defender, even though Williams is around 5% owned, but there are a lot of FPL managers with defensive cover from Nottingham Forest. Milenkovic sells. So I think that O'Brien is a great differential for the next couple of game weeks. So the watch list in the right corner is it's not like it's the first name is the best player. It's just three players that I really recommend transferring him in if you need a new player ahead of the next game week. So defenders, O'Brien, Guardiola, Williams. I like Guardiola as well. I know that a lot of managers already have Guardiola in their team, but Man City will probably do well. Taking a look at the fixture lists. So I like him as well. At the moment, I have both Williams and Guardiola. So if one of my defenders gets injured, O'Brien would probably be my target. I talked about midfield, Mbumo, Jared Bowen, and Morgan Gibbs-White. But let's wait and see how Morgan Gibbs-White does tonight. He actually picked up a yellow card 5 minutes ago. He tackled Shadow on a counter-attack. Kind of unnecessary, to be honest. Far up the pitch, trying to win the ball back, but didn't really need to put that much into the tackle as he did. But I thought he would get the ball, so yeah. That happens. 14 minutes played. I think Brentford have had the best start. Probably the biggest chances come to Nottingham Forest. Brentford had a good attempt on a set piece from Nurgar. He was heading on the back post, but Elanga. I think Mbumo actually has looked really good first 15 minutes in the build-up. Looks good on the ball and getting involved, but of course we want to see Mbumo a bit closer to Nottingham Forest goal. Brentford trying to find their way out of their own defense. Williams with a tackle on Wissa, staying down. Seems to be fine. Didn't do much wrong there, Williams. He knew what he was doing. He was like letting his foot touch Wissa just to take him down, but Wissa was the one going into Williams, so no yellow card for the Nottingham Forest left back. So a set piece for Brentford. I think probably Mbumo will take it. Or is it Damsgaard? Yeah. Someone is getting a red card now. Yeah, it's actually been a couple of tough tackles already. Just played 15 minutes. Morgan Gibbs-White is one of those players that he has the potential to pick up 2 yellow cards. So I'm not sure what Nuno Espirito's. Oh, that's really close for Brentford. Not sure what Santos will do if Morgan Gibbs-White is involved in another incident. You see managers like substitute their players because they feel that they will get a second yellow, but he's so vital to Nottingham Forest at the moment, so can't really see him being taken off early. Ooh. Second yellow card. Anderson. Wissa again. And Mbumo winning the ball. Ooh, that was a really, really good chance for Brentford on that set piece by Damsgaard. Would like to see, of course, Mbumo more involved in those situations. Wissa going down again. Yeah, it's a little touch on the shoulder, but yeah, no free kick. Brentford by far the better team. First 20 minutes of this game. I haven't really seen much of Chris Wood. Fingers crossed that Chris Wood blanks tonight, but not sure how many times I can mention a Chris Wood blank before he actually does something. So yeah, someone is getting a red card tonight. Anderson, he is involved in yet another situation, but yeah, that's nothing. So Brentford, the better team in the first 20 minutes. Not seen much of Chris Wood, and Bumo looked lively. Wissa as well, but no big chances for any of them so far. Yellow card to Morgan Gibbs-White. Anderson as well. So 2 players in the Nottingham Forest midfield have picked up yellow cards. So this will potentially be an advantage for Brentford going forward. So Williams, left back, he's done reasonably well against Mbumo, but he's been drifting all over the pitch so far. But as mentioned, not really getting into any dangerous positions so far. Sells with the ball, slowing down the play before Brentford picks up the ball again. Free kick for Nottingham Forest. Dangerous position. Lewis Potter with a challenge on Aina. Aina as well looked well in the first 20 minutes. I think that Nottingham Forest have missed Aina on their right back. Really solid defensively, and he can do this going forward as well. Take on players and create 2-on-1s. Whip in the ball as well. So Elanga with the cross. Potter escapes a second yellow, yeah. I think you're right about the red card tonight, FPL FOMO. I think that this game really has the potential. What we usually see is that if one of the teams get an early red card, we know that the odds are actually pretty low for the other team to pick up a red as well. Let's just hope that Mbumo does not get booked. My transfer plan this game week is actually to sell Saka and bring in Mbumo. I think that Saka is a big minutes risk for game week 35. We know that they played yesterday against, on Tuesday, and they will play Wednesday again. So I think that this match in between against Bournemouth, I think that Arteta probably will want to rest some of his key players. And we know that Saka, he has actually been injured for an extended period as well, so resting Saka against Bournemouth makes sense. So, and it's not like Saka has been that great. I watched the game Arsenal against Ipswich, so that was really, really frustrating. I actually had Saka as my captain. That was double game week 33. I had Saka captain and watched the game against Ipswich. He actually started, had so many chances in the first half, but missed them all. I think that he had like 4 big chances in the first half, but he got subbed off before the 60-minute mark. So I think he played 56 minutes, but only got 1 point. Junto, hi bro, hi. Thanks for Thanks for joining in. Are you ready for game week 35? And are you watching the Nottingham Forest against Brentford game? I think my stream is a minute or so ahead of yours, and that will be a bit annoying. Let's have a quick look on this one. There's probably some delay in the live broadcasts as well. I think that there are some seconds. So if my stream is a bit behind and the stream is a bit behind as well, that would be a bit annoying. I'll try not to give that many live updates because you guys have probably already seen it. So just the interesting stuff. So in the captain poll, Marmouche, he is on 25%, and the other category has 75. No votes for Salah, no votes for Alexander Isak, so 1 vote for Marmouche. I think that the other category, we got 1 comment about Jared Bowen from Orange Apple, so Raya, Konsa, Munoz, Guardiola, S.A. Salah, Saka and Rogers, Marmouche, Mateta, Alexander Isak up front. Kepa, Murphy, Milenkovic, Greaves, 2 free transfers and 3 million in the bank. What to do? I would be tempted to do something with Saka, to be honest. I talked about him 10 minutes ago. I think that he potentially can be rested for the game against Bournemouth. So Arsenal played on Tuesday. They will play again this weekend and then have the second leg in Champions League on Wednesday. So considering that he actually has been injured, I think that there is a risk that Saka is benched against Bournemouth. So he played 90 minutes against PSG. So selling Saka this game week to bring in someone like Jared Bowen or Mbumo. Won't be doing any goal spoilers, thanks. Saka to Mbumo is the most obvious pick. Yeah, I know it's kind of template and a bit boring. If I didn't have Jared Bowen, I would probably prioritize bringing him in. I really like West Ham's fixture. I know that West Ham, they are not the best team, but they are playing against Spurs. I think that they potentially can rest some players as well for their fixture against Nottingham Forest. So I think that Saka to Jared Bowen probably is the most exciting transfer for your team at the moment. But if you want to play it safe, then of course Mbumo, as you mentioned, is the one of the most obvious picks this game week. But I think that probably Jared Bowen is a bit more exciting, and if I didn't have him already, that would probably be my transfer this game week. Marmoush is the bookie's favorite ahead of game week 35. 48% chance of a goal. Alexander Isak is second. And actually Visa is third. I think that Jared Bowen, I posted this on X earlier today. I was just calculating the percentage from the bookies. I think that Jared Bowen was given, was it like 2.70? So 100 divided by 2.70 is 37%. So he's like 5th or 6th on the bookies anytime goal scorer list. So I think Jared Bowen is a decent transfer in. No goals so far in Nottingham Forest against Brentford game. Just gotten FPL FOMO told me that my stream is probably a bit behind others, so at least for me there are no goals so far. Close being an own goal. Gibbs White cross. No defenders for me in this game, so really hoping that this will not just turn out to be a 0-0. That would be kind of annoying. I know that, as mentioned, a lot of players have Nottingham Forest defensive cover and some with Flecken as well, so that would hurt my rank a bit. Not that much, of course. I think that like 1 or 2 months ago, when Nottingham Forest did really well and Aina had higher ownership as well, Forest clean sheet would hurt even more. But ooh, is that a Mbumo yellow card? Yes, it is, of course. That's kind of unlucky from Mbumo, just missing the touch, trying to reach the ball. So close to touch it again, but missed it. Reaching for it with a tackle, sliding a bit and just catching the Nottingham Forest player. So is it 5 yellow cards so far in the first half? Only 37 minutes played. Mbumo yellow card, yeah. Really annoying, that yellow card, to be honest, in this kind of game. Really close. A lot of situations, so he will have to... Ooh. Definitely a tense game, this one. That's really, really close to a 6th yellow card. Yates is involved. I haven't actually looked it up, but the odds of Yates picking up a yellow can't be that high. Ooh. Shot on target from Nottingham Forest. Easy save for Flecken. Just realized 2 of my players on the watch list, actually 3 of them, 4 actually, in action tonight. Williams, Mbumo, Visa, and Chris Wood as well. Morgan Gibbs. White, 1, 2, 3. 5 players from the watch list in action. New yellow card. Nergard this time for a tackle on Gibbs White. Ooh. So it has been like this a couple of times this season. I think this is, I'm on a free hit, so I have Mbumo in, but I think that I owned Mbumo 2 times so far this season, and almost every game has been like this. But I feel that every time I don't own him, he's always that threatening. So getting into those positions, taking the ball, carrying it into the box and curling it with his left foot. Haven't really seen that tonight. Not even close. Norgard, yellow card, yeah. A lot of yellow card. I think that your call with a red card in this game, I think that will happen, to be honest. And Bumo started really well, I think, in the first 15 minutes, but last 20 minutes. He hasn't really. Ooh, great ball. Oh, that's schade. I was talking about him 5 minutes ago. Good start to the game, but that's horrible defending, letting Schade past him there and walking the ball right. Oh, what is that? It's a great finish, though. It's a bit lucky the first touch, bouncing, hardly touching the ball, tricking Aina with a bad touch, and then the second touch as well, setting it up perfectly for his right foot. Sells not stopping that one, so 1-0 Brentford. Who would have known Schade was the one to target on a free hit? Rock solid Forest defense. I think Forest actually have done quite well this game so far compared to other games I've seen from them. Maybe they have looked a bit off on a couple of set pieces, letting Brentford get goal attempts, but let's have a look at some stats from Nottingham Forest from the last 4 game weeks. Give me a minute. Ooh. Damskar with a try. I think that's it. Whistle's gone. First half, 1-0 Brentford. And on the screen, I just had a look at the Nottingham Forest stats, defensive stats for the last 4 game weeks. SA might actually be a decent punt. In my own fixture difficulty rating, I actually have labeled the game against Nottingham Forest as a green fixture. So for the last 4 game weeks, Nottingham Forest, they have only kept 1 clean sheet. No clean sheet tonight either. They conceded only 4 goals, so that's rock solid, as you say, FPL FOMO. But I think that they actually have been a bit lucky when we take a look at those other stats. Big chances, 13. Shots on target, 23. And they actually, even though they only conceded 4 goals, they have an expected goals conceded of 8.16. So I've not been that impressed by the Nottingham Forest defense recently. Thought it would be a bit better with Aina back, but he did not impress in that situation with Schade on Brentford's goal. So playing at home against Forest could potentially be a decent fixture for the Crystal Palace attackers, especially Mateta, Esse. Esse, who is on set pieces as well. I'm actually just, even though Mbumo did not score and he picked up a yellow card, but Kevin Schade scoring to wipe out the Nottingham Forest clean sheet is good for my rank this game week with no Nottingham Forest players. But I really like Williams, as mentioned on the watch lists. Really good fixture in game week 36. So if you have players like Milenkovic or Williams, I would not prioritize selling them. They play at home against Leicester in game week 36, so in that picture they actually have potential for clean sheets and attacking returns as well. So keep your Nottingham Forest defenders, even though the stats are quite bad. We can see that they're second when we consider goals conceded, but 17th, 16th for shots on target, and 17th again for expected goals conceded. So the Nottingham Forest defense is probably a bit overrated. No one really rated Nottingham Forest at the start of the season, but around Christmas they got probably a bit hyped up for a reason. Of course, they did really well. I remember that game when Mo Salah was on a run and was playing against Nottingham Forest, and I think that going against Mo Salah captaincy that game week was a really, really good decision, because Nottingham Forest at that moment was really, they were really, really good defensively, but I don't really think that they are that good at the moment. And we can see it on the screen as well. Stats usually don't lie. They've been solid in the first half. Brentford have had a couple of chances on set pieces, but I think overall that Brentford have been the better team. Vish Malhotra, do I take Mateta out for Vissa, or S.A. Murphy Rogers out for Jared Bowen for a hit? So for game week 35, I just talked about the fixture for Crystal Palace, and I think that Nottingham Forest probably is a bit overrated. So I think that for the attacking Palace players, the fixture against Nottingham Forest in game week 35 actually is a decent fixture. So I would keep Mateta. So the player I would prioritize selling would probably be Murphy. if you can afford Murphy to Jared Bowen, I think that would be a really, really good transfer ahead of game week 35. So keep Mateta, keep SA. I would keep Rogers as well. So Murphy would be my first priority sell, and then Rogers second, SA and Mateta. I would keep them both. The thing is, with Crystal Palace, we know that both SA and Mateta have missed penalties recently, so they've been a bit unlucky. We're not quite sure which Crystal Palace player will take their next penalty, but I think it probably will be Mateta or SA. Glasner talked about this before Christmas, that they can decide by themselves, so the one feeling confident and in form can take the penalties for Crystal Palace. So Murphy worth taking out for a hit. So you're considering Murphy to Jared Bowen for a hit. Newcastle playing against Brighton this game week. Brighton is really close to Nottingham Forest when we consider the defensive stats. So I think Newcastle potentially can do well in game week 35. The thing with Murphy is that Gordon is back. He's not 100% fit, but we know that he will play more minutes in the run-in. So I think Jacob Murphy has done really well. Of course, been in form, delivered some really, really good games. But I think that with Newcastle not having any more blanks or doubles for the rest of the season, I don't really rate Murphy. It's not on set pieces. Is actually becoming a minutes risk as well with Anthony Gordon back. So I think for the differential in Jared Bowen, I think I would do Jacob Murphy to Jared Bowen. Yeah. So my team is Ruben, Guardiola, Saliba, Munoz, Livra in defense. SA, Murphy, Rogers, Mbumo, Salah, Marmouche, Isak, Mateta. Yeah, seeing that you already have two Newcastle players, I think it's safe to sell Murphy this game week. Sorry for bombarding you with this question. Yeah, no worries. I'm watching the Nottingham Forest against Brentford game, but it's half time, so fire with questions. I think that, as mentioned, to answer your question, I think Murphy is the player that has to go if you really want Jared Bowen, and I think that he potentially is a decent captain option for game week 35 as well. My captain at the moment is Alexander Isak, but I think this probably will change. So let's get my team back. There it is. Just saw the shot. Yep. Bit lucky, of course. First touch, second touch, setting up as well, but the finish was good from Shada. Why are you captaining Alexander Isak and not Jared Bowen? Just asking. The reason for initially having my captaincy on Alexander Isak is, I can show you real quick. I actually changed back to Jared Bowen, but because of the Brighton defensive stats, not really impressed by Brighton, especially for the last 4 game weeks. They have kept 0 clean sheets, conceded 10 goals, 10 big chances, 21 shots on target, and they have an expected goals conceded of 5.55. So I think that Alexander Isak is probably safe. We know that he's nailed on and on penalties as well. Jared Bowen is actually not on penalties for West Ham. We know that this probably will be Paqueta. Matthias, hi, I will captain Isak because Brighton has a very bad defense. I was just actually talking about captaining Alexander Isak. I initially had the captaincy on Isak, really strange. You just joined in to talk up Alexander Isak. Wish Malhotra, he just asked me why I would want to captain Alexander Isak when I had Jared Bowen. Makes sense with your Isak pick. Yeah. The thing is that even though Brighton don't have the best defensive stats, I really, really fancy having players against Spurs at the moment. We know that they are really going for success in Europe League, so I think I made a mistake with Triple City and Triple Palace. But I think that with the information we have about the fixtures, it definitely made sense to triple up on both Man City and Crystal Palace. So as you can see, in my team, I have Triple City as well. I have Guardiola, Kevin De Bruyne, and Marmoush up front, and I have Eze, Mateta, and Munoz. I'm benching Munoz this game week. So I will only play 2 of my Crystal Palace players. So substitution for Nottingham Forest. I'm still hesitating who to transfer out, Murphy, Sarr, or Saka for Bowen after the Arsenal first leg result. I feel Saka might be playing game week 36, 37, and 38. Yeah, I really have a feeling that Saka might get a rest against Bournemouth in game week 35. So this is one of the reasons why I'm really, really tempted to sell Saka and bring in Jared Bowen. If Mbumo don't get injured tonight in the second half against Nottingham Forest, I will probably make the move and sell Saka to bring in Mbumo. But I also think that, as I said to Wish Malhotra, I think that Murphy is a decent sell at the moment. No more double game weeks for Newcastle. Anthony Gordon is back. He will eat into his minutes, so I think that Barnes and Murphy are not that safe. None of them on set pieces. So my recommendation, Matthias, just to answer your question, is probably to sell Saka. 10 million plus player, not starting games. I don't really see the benefit. So it's not like he's been in really good form as well. So I will probably sell Saka ahead of game week 35. After the Murphy to Jared Bowen transfer, my lineup is Raya, Saliba, Guardiola, Ruben Diaz, S.A. Rogers, Salah, and Bumo, Jared Bowen, and Marmouche and Isak. Mateta, Munoz, Libra on the bench. And it changes. I think I probably would start Mateta ahead of Rogers. That would be my only change, I'd say. I watched the last couple of Aston Villa games, and I think that Rodgers, he's a really good player, but I think that at some point he needs a rest. Don't really think that he will get it, but I think that when we compare Rodgers in the last couple of game weeks compared to the Rodgers we saw around Christmas, I think that the energy is really low. It's not really, doesn't really seem like he enjoy playing at the moment. It's a really close call, but I will play Rodgers this game week. But if I do the transfer and bringing in Mbumo, then Rodgers will probably drop to my bench. At the moment, I have Saka on my bench, but if I bring in Mbumo, it will be Mbumo in my starting 11 and Rodgers first on my bench. Yeah, Emery has overused him like Rashford during COVID, if you remember. Yeah, I think that Emery really should. Ooh, I think that Rodgers should get a rest soon. I can see why he keeps playing, though. He's really good link-up player. He finds space, he keeps the ball moving, and he's good defensively as well. But I think that there's something with his energy, not that aggressive as we saw, as mentioned, from before Christmas. So if Arsenal makes it to the final, I can transfer out Saka in game week 36. If I transfer Saka now, I will anyway transfer Murphy out in game week 36. Yeah. Why are you waiting to get Mbumo? Just asking. Well, one of the reasons why I haven't done it yet is, yeah, the main reason, of course, is that Mbumo is actually playing as we speak. So Nottingham Forest against Brentford, second half just started. So it would be really annoying to make that move if Mbumo picked up an injury during the second half. And if I didn't have Jared Bowen, I think that Bowen probably would be my transfer. So Saka to Bowen would be my first priority, but I already have Jared Bowen, so I think that Mbumo is the obvious transfer in for me this game week, even though I don't really think that it's an exciting move. Mbumo at the moment with high ownership, but I think that the game for Brentford playing against Man United, and we know that they probably will rest some players as well. So I think targeting both Man United and Spurs potentially is a really good strategy ahead of game week 35. Rodgers could be very valuable in game week 37 against Spurs if Spurs makes it to the final. That Villa Spurs game is 72 hours before the Europe final. Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily sell Rodgers. I really like that picture as well. I know Spurs, they tried to move the mentioned game against Aston Villa, but it got rejected. So, as you say, they will play only 72 hours before the final. So, I think that in the last couple of Premier League games, I think that we will see a really weak Spurs team. So, as mentioned, targeting Spurs in the next couple of game weeks could probably be a really good strategy. Yeah, true, but I feel Mateta in my team has more chances of scoring than Rodgers this week. I could go wrong either way. Yeah, for game week 35, I think I would just bench Rodgers. Wouldn't necessarily sell him, but I would start Mateta ahead of Rodgers. Took your advice and subbed Rodgers out for Mateta. Hopefully Mateta can do well in game week 35. Will be a bit embarrassing if Rodgers hauls and Mateta gets 1 point or something like that, but yeah. So I will bench Rodgers as well. So if I do the move, ooh, shot from Bumo. If I do the move as mentioned, if I decide to sell Saka, and I probably will, to bring in Mbumo, I will bench Rodgers and Mateta will start. Munoz is on my bench together with Williams. Good piece of information. Spurs and United are both winning 2-0 for the first half. They are closer to the final. Yeah, both Man United and Spurs are favorites to reach the final, and especially Spurs playing against Norwegian Bodø Glimt. I think that they will have to be. I can't really see Spurs losing that one, so I think that Spurs will have this game tonight, and that they will have the second leg in the semi-final and the final as well. So 2 games and a second half extra football for Spurs, and I think that their main priority will be to do well in Europe League. We know at the moment that the 3 teams that will get relegated, it's decided. So Spurs, they have nothing to fight for in the league, so it makes sense for them to just target those fixtures that they have left in Europe. And the same goes for Man United as well. Bit tougher opponent in the Europe League semi-final as well, playing against Spanish Athletic, so they will need to focus on those fixtures to hopefully and potentially win the Europe League to get a spot in the next year's Champions League. Hoping for more goals in the Nottingham Forest Brentford game, of course. I'm actually on free hit this game week. It feels like this game week has lasted forever, but It's my free hit team for blank game week 34, and this is of course the last game in that mentioned game week. And I have Mbumo in my team. He's not done much so far this game. He looked lively in the first 15 minutes, but picked up a yellow card. No big chances for Mbumo so far. Bowen hat-trick loading. Hopefully. Yeah. As you can see, I actually changed my captaincy from Alexander Isak to Jared Bowen, so I hope you're right. I have, as you can see, so this is my team for game week 35. So I had Jared Bowen in game week 33, used my free hit, and I did not keep Jared Bowen, so kind of annoying. He did well in blank game week 34 as well. If you have Raya as a goalkeeper, would you play Saliba or Konsa? It's tempting to say Konsa, of course, to like spread the risk, but I think that Arsenal have the potential to keep a clean sheet. They are the best defense in the league, and Saliba, he has more attacking threat than Konsa, so yeah, just seems like we agree on this one. Wish Malhotra, he just wrote the exact same thing. Also with my team, who do I captain? So our teams are actually pretty similar. We have the same front three with Mateta, Marmoush, and Alexander Isak. I think that there are a lot of good options this game week, and hopefully I think that we will see a lot of variety in the captaincy as well. I think that some will go Marmoush, some will go Alexander Isak. I actually think that SA is a decent punt as well. I'll just show you on the screen if you give me a second. I think that the Nottingham Forest defense probably is a bit overrated, so I talked about this in my game week 35 team selection video, that SA potentially can be a decent captain punt for game week 35. Nottingham Forest, actually, they have an expected goals conceded of 8.16. They've been quite solid in this game so far, but for the last 4 game weeks, they haven't been that strong defensively. So if I knew that SA was on penalties for Nottingham Forest, he would be close to being my captain for game week 35, to be honest, but we can't really be sure who will take their next penalty. Will it be SA? Will it be Mateta? But SA, we know that he is on set pieces like corners, free kicks, so he has a lot of routes to points. So I think SA is probably the biggest punt. I think that Jared Bowen is a really good punt as well. Currently my captain, and the safe option would probably be Alexander Isak. You have Salah as well. I think when I talk about safe options, I definitely think that the safest option for game week 35 would be to just stick with Mo Salah against Chelsea. I don't really rate that fixture for Mo Salah. We don't really know how they will react. We know that they just won the league, but I think Mo Salah will try to chase some records and still be hungry for goals, but we also at the same time know that Chelsea can put up a really good defensive performance if they get a good start to the game. So Chelsea is a tough team to break down, especially if they get the first goal. So I like Mbumo as well. Haven't really thought that much about Mbumo, to be honest, mainly because he's not in my team at the moment. Or actually, he's in my team at the moment because of a free hit, but it's not in my original team. So when I was considering captain options for game week 35, I had those other guys in mind, but I really like Brentford's fixture playing at home against Man United as well. Same situation as we talked about with Spurs. We will probably rest some players in the Premier League to prioritize the Europe League. So Mbumo, not been that great this game, to be honest. Picked up a yellow, but we know and we saw last game week what he has the potential to do. So as mentioned, I think that there will be a lot of variety in the captain selection this game week. It's really close in the captain poll as well. 14% for Salah, 14% for Marmoush, 14% for Alexander Isak, and 57 have voted for someone else. I know that a couple of those other votes have been Jared Bowen. So really hard to decide. I think that Mbumo with his ownership is probably a bit safer. I think that Jared Bowen SA is more exciting due to their ownership, but of course Mbumo, I think that Mbumo, what's his ownership at the moment? 35, something like that. I think that someone will consider captaining Mbumo, so his ownership will probably be quite high for game week 35. Another yellow card. 2 yellow cards. Williams as well. Ooh. Did he actually get booked for that handball? Wasn't really paying attention, so just saw the replay of Williams touching the ball with his hand. 2 more yellow cards. Just waiting for that red card. FPL FOMO called it early in the first half that this game will potentially have a red card in it. I think, is it like 8? Oh, that's close. Chris Wood. Probably should have done better, Chris Wood. Great cross, Elanga. Ooh. Was it Aina? Ooh, Chris Wood. Before Christmas, Chris Wood definitely would have scored on that one. So yeah, Leicester Forest stats not that impressive, but I think that they are doing reasonably well against Brentford in this match. Brentford haven't had that many great chances. I think they were a bit lucky with the Schade goal as well. Aina, he was actually in position to clear the ball, but two weird touches from Schade tricked both Aina and Matzels. So well done on the finish from Schade, of course, but that first touch, I think that it caught Aina. Bumo with a corner. Yeah. So just to finish, I don't really think that Nottingham Forest, even though they've been reasonably good in this game, I don't really see that as a really tough fixture for Crystal Palace in game week 35. So if you want to take a punt, it's probably too much of a risk, but I think that SA can potentially do really well in game week 35. But I'll put my team back up. Outside of Isak, Marmoush, Mateta, please rank the best 3 attackers to transfer in, please. And Bumo took a shot. Yeah, got blocked. I think that if you need a new forward at the moment, I think that he hasn't really impressed me so far tonight, but I think that Wissa is a decent transfer in. Same goes for Chris Wood if you don't own him already. We know that Nottingham Forest have the best fixtures, so especially if you're in a good position in your mini leagues and if you're satisfied with your ranking, want to play it safe in the run-in, then it makes sense to transfer in Chris Wood. And it's not like his ownership is that high. He got a lot of transfers out recently as well. So I think that those two probably are the best options. I pay attention to the Holland situation as well. We know that he actually has trained with Man City. So if you have the funds and can easily maybe downgrade someone in midfield to bring in Holland for the last couple of game weeks, that could be really powerful, of course. I'm hoping for a Chris Wood blank. Nuno, take him off. Let's have a quick look at his ownership. Chris Wood, 28% owned, so I think he was owned by around 35% of the managers at some point, so dropped off a bit. And if you can wait one game week with your forward, I actually also like Cunha. Really tough fixture in game week 35 playing at the Etihad against Man City, so I wouldn't necessarily bring in Cunha this game week, but in game week 36 playing at home against Brighton and then Crystal Palace, and in game week 38 they have Brentford at home and Brentford. even though they're 1-0 up. 2-0, it's Wissa, of course. 2-0 Brentford. Just as FPL FOMO writing that Forest looking like they might get the next goal. Brentford gets their second, so it's 2-0 Brentford. Yeah, Pep said he won't start this week. Yeah, I know that Haaland, he will not play in game week 35, but is that an Mbumo assist? Is it? Did he touch it? Nah, no. Not even close. Hi, when would you use assistant manager? So if you haven't used your assistant manager chip yet, I would just, it kind of depends how many chips do you have left. The thing is with the assistant manager chip, the time is actually starting to run out because that chip runs for 3 consecutive game weeks. So if you activate it ahead of game week 35, it will be active for 35, 36, and 37. And the last chance to maximize your assistant manager chip is actually to activate it ahead of game week 36. And then it will be active for 36, 37, and the last game week of the season is game week 38. So either this week or next game week, but it kind of depends on how many chips you have left, to be honest. What do you think about Watkins with Rashford being injured? I think that Watkins is more appealing, of course, with Rashford being out, but at that price, I'm not really sure. I actually talked with Aston Villa fan discussing Watkins, was it yesterday or on Tuesday? And he actually thinks that even though Asensio missed 2 penalties and the fact that Rashford is out, he thought McGinn would take their next penalty. Watkins, he has a terrible history when it comes to set piece, especially penalties. Okay, thanks. I have only assistant manager left. Tempted to risk on Wolves versus City. Yeah. So yeah, seems like you know about the bonus. So if a team wins against someone 5 places above them on the league table, you get the bonus. Let's take a look at Wolves fixtures. So as mentioned, they are playing against Man City in game week 35. In game week 36, Wolves are playing against Brighton. No table bonus in that one. I think Wolves are 13th, Brighton 9th, so close to table bonus. And the last fixture, if you activated this game week, would be Wolves against Crystal Palace, so no table bonus. So I haven't really looked into potential assistant managers, to be honest, ahead of game week 35, but Wolves playing against Man City, not the best fixture, and no table bonus against Brighton or Crystal Palace, so I'm not really sure if playing the assistant managership on Wolves is the best option at the moment. I think that, yeah, if they had the potential to get bonus against Brighton as well, I think that it potentially could have been more interesting. But I can see them lose that game as well, and if they win with no bonus, I think that there might be better options. Let's have a look at fixtures for West Ham. I think West Ham definitely will win against Spurs this game week. Spurs will rest some of their players due to their participation in Europe League. Let's have a look at their fixtures in game week 36. West Ham against Man United. No table bonus, but a decent fixture. And 37, West Ham against Nottingham Forest. So potentially in game week 37, West Ham at home against Nottingham Forest. Know that Nottingham Forest did really well around Christmas, so they're actually 5th, but as we can see from this game tonight, they're not in the same form as we saw. So West Ham potentially has with table bonus in that last game in game week 37, not the last game of the season, but the last game of your assistant manager. So that will be something to consider, but as mentioned, haven't really spent that much time assessing the best assistant managers for this game week. So Wishmalatra, thanks for all the help, bro. Good night. Thanks for joining in, and best of luck for game week 35. Still 2-0 Brentford. Ooh, dangerous set piece for Nottingham Forest, but it gets cleared. So who actually got the assist for that second Brentford goal? From one angle, it looked like Mbumo actually touched it, but second angle, it was close. It wasn't even close. So yeah, Flecken got that one. Yeah. Flecken actually is close to 10% owned. So Flecken getting a clean sheet, assist, and maximum bonus from this game is actually not ideal for non-owners. Given to Flecken. Yeah, thanks. Just looked it up. As mentioned, I don't really like Flecken got that assists. He's up to 3 bonus. %10 owned. Also, do you have a Discord? No, I don't really have a Discord. Should maybe make one. That could be really cool, discussing FPL in a Discord. So, but I have a active account over at X. I post daily FPL stuff over there, so it's the same name as on YouTube, FPL TFS. So go check that one if you're interested, and my DMs are always open ahead of ahead of the, or ahead of, it's always open. Yeah, please do make one. Thanks for showing interest. Makes connecting very easy. Yeah, I should probably consider setting up a Discord. Look into it, but for now, check out my account over at X. As mentioned, my DMs are always open over there as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel as well. 2,777 subscribers at this point, so hopefully more will join on these live streams going forward, and really have some plans for next season as well. Is that your team on the screen, by the way? Bowen captain is bold. Yeah, that's my team. I actually had Alexander Isak when I started the stream, but got a question why I was really considering Alexander Isak, and it's really 50-50 for me between Alexander Isak and Jared Bowen, to be honest. So like 1 hour ago, I changed from Alexander Isak to Jared Bowen. I really like the fixture playing against Spurs. I talked about this a couple of times so far this evening, that Spurs, they will probably rest some players in the league due to their participation in Europe. So I really like Jared Bowen, even though he's actually not on penalties. Ooh. Yeah, just follow you. Yeah, I'll head over there later and follow back. Thanks for the follow. I like the Bowen shout, to be honest. I think I will do the same. I think that it's a really good punt this game week. So it's not like Spurs have been solid defensively with their strongest starting 11. So I think now that they're starting to rotate and save some players as well, I think that Spurs are one of the teams to target in the run-in. 10 minutes left with added time, so it's, I know that my stream is probably a bit behind. FPL FOMO mentioned this earlier, but it's 83 minutes played. Brentford still 2-0 up, so will probably be 3 points. A lot of yellow cards in this game. Will be interesting to see if FPL FOMO gets it right. He called after 10 minutes that this game potentially can have a red card, but 7 yellows, 4 to Brentford, 3 to Nottingham Forest. Flecken, save point, assist, maximum bonus. Don't really like that. So this is my team, and this, for gameweek35, this is my team in gameweek 34. So this is my free hit team. Done reasonably well. It's, let's have a look, it's 86 points. Bit annoyed about benching Sessegnon, of course. Aren't you worried about not having Brentford versus Man United? I feel like it's same logic for Bowen versus Spurs. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and this is why my planned transfer ahead of next game week is actually to sell Saka. I think that he might get a rest against Bournemouth in game week 35, so selling Saka to bring in Mbumo is my planned transfer next game week. So I think you're totally right. I just want to see if Mbumo can finish this game without a red card or an injury. Still 5 minutes. 5 minutes left. At this point, I actually hope that Nottingham Forest can grab a goal, to be honest. I think that I put my plan transfer in the scrolling text at the bottom. There's a lot of text, so it takes some time for it to show, but yeah, no double game weeks, no blanks for the rest of the season. The Man City versus Bournemouth game and the Crystal Palace against Wolves will be played in game week 37. Yeah, there is transfer Saka to Mbumo is my plan transfer this game week. So if I bring in Mbumo, he's actually one to consider for captaincy as well, but at the moment, even though if I bring in Mbumo, I'm really tempted by Jared Bowen because of his low ownership. He's only, is it 12%? Come on, Mbumo. Oh. So that's Mbumo trademark in the 87th minute. From the edge of the box, curling it with his left. I'm 100% sure that if I did not own Mbumo, that would have been a goal. Ooh. Is that a penalty? Or did he hold him inside the box? I think he was definitely starting outside the box, but I think that I think it's just a free kick. It tripped him as well, but that's outside the box as well, so only a free kick for Forest. Hopefully they can nick a goal on this one. Don't really care about that Mbumo clean sheet, to be honest. I'm more worried about Flecken Hall. For his was like 9% owners. Ooh, close again. And Boomer going down. Yeah. Williams with the cross. Oh. Forest really pushing for a goal. It's close to 90 minutes. Flecken gets the ball, 4 minutes added. This will probably end 2-0 Brentford. Hopefully Mbumo can do something in the last attack, but don't really have high hopes for that. But at least he's not injured. No red cards so far. So Saka to Mbumo is really close to happening. Ooh. Shot with his left from Sosa, but too high, not threatening Flecken with that one. So looks like Mbumo will get 2 points in this game. That brings my total, my free hits, game week 34 free hits, to a total of 86 points. Not the worst, could have been better. Captain Cunha, really satisfied with the captaincy. Really annoyed that I benched Sessegnon. I had Raul Jimenez as well. 1 point, he picked up a yellow. Blank from Leno. Decent from the Liverpool mids, Luis Diaz and Mo Salah. Ait Nouri and Trippier. Double figures for them as well. So 86 points for me in blank game week 34. And Mbumo, last chance this for Forest. So my stream is a bit behind, so the game is probably over at this point, but on my screen it's 93 minutes played, 1 minute left. Brentford 2-0 up. Gonna head off. We'll come back here more often. Thanks for your help. Thanks for joining in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That's really appreciated. And you're always welcome. I try to do a Q&A the night before each FPL deadline. And tomorrow I'll have a deadline stream as well. So that will be a couple of hours before the deadline. So if you're interested, you're welcome to join in. So the whistle's gone, 2-0 Brentford, no injuries, no red cards for Mbumo. So Saka to Mbumo will be my transfer ahead of game week 35. The captaincy is currently on Jared Bowen. I will put Rodgers on my bench and Mbumo in the starting 11. So the team will be as on the screen, with Rodgers, Munoz and Williams on the bench. Captaincy, as mentioned, really close between Alexander Isak and Jared Bowen, but I really like a differential, so Jared Bowen is the front runner for now. Go follow me over at X for more daily updates as well, and thanks for joining in. And as mentioned, join in on the deadline stream tomorrow if you find the time. If not, best of luck for game week 35 and have a nice weekend.